Test. All right. This is actually the first time I've ever done this, and I don't know if anybody's ever is even going to be on tonight. Um, I this is probably not the right way to do a live video, and meaning that this is the first time I've actually tried to do a live video. So, but I wanted to do this one tonight because being a fan of Rush, and that's an understatement. The news hit pretty hard today. And if people know if anybody's watching this, because I don't think anybody is, but that's okay. I'm just going to say stuff anyway. The drummer from Rush, Neil Peart, he actually passed away Tuesday, but it was finally reported today. It felt very, I can't even put in the words, because it's not somebody that I ever met. The closest I ever got to the person was going to a concert. And yet it was very gut-wrenching to hear it today. I had started listening to Rush when I was probably around 12 or something like that. And what really got me hooked was Grace Under Pressure. And seeing the video of them and seeing three people do what would probably take five was very impressive. But it was also the lyrics and hearing something there that was more than what I was hearing in a lot of other bands. After Image was a very, very personal, powerful song. So was Red Sector A, Between the Wheels. And so I became pretty much an immediate fan. And I didn't have a drum set, but I basically acted like my bed was a drum set. And I would sit there and beat on the bed, and I remember the video from Distant Early Warning and seeing him literally surrounded by drums so I thought that was really cool, especially being a kid that was a little introverted. You could kind of hide behind all the drums, and I always had the intention of someday I'm going to have that kind of big drum set. And I'm going to just turn my camera a little bit. You can see that's the set I have. It's not all the way around. I don't have electronic drums, but I was trying to, it's a 10-piece or something like that. So it's fairly big. And over the years, I just kept up with them. They changed and styles changed and things like that changed, but they were still Rush. They were always Rush. And the lyrics always made an impression on me throughout all of their albums. So, it's not just the music. It wasn't just the songs, even though the songs are great, they were amazing. And it was the writing. You could see that in the lyrics, and also in the tour books. If you bought the tour books, which any Rush fan would tell you, you have to read them, because he wrote like a synopsis on his drum set and things like that in there. And you could tell this was a man that had, read a lot and educated himself a lot. He was extremely prolific in his writing. And he eventually started writing books, mostly on his travels. And I think probably one of the hardest books of his to read was Ghost Rider. If you don't know the history of Rush, in 1997, his daughter was killed in a car crash. And then about a year later, his wife passed away of cancer. And so his whole family was gone. And Rush stopped for about 5 years. And being a fan, I thought that's it, the band's over, and understandably so. I mean, you just wonder if he's actually even going to make it, so to speak. To have any of the time afterwards to still have music from them, to still have tours from them was overtime. That was, that was extra time as far as I was concerned. And I didn't miss a beat. I've seen them the first time I saw them in concert was the Roll the Bones tour, then Counterparts, Test for Echo, Vapor Trails, did not see for 30th anniversary, Snakes and Arrows, Time Machine, Clockwork Angels, and then R40, that one I spent a fair amount of money on to make sure you get tickets for that fairly close to the stage, as close as I could get. That band and everything that they did was extremely influential on me as a musician, and I think also as a person. Kind of said it's okay to be in a rock band and to think and to put a lot of thought and work into making a message into your songs and crafting songs and making sure that what you're saying is expressed well. I read all of Neil's books. I found them all entertaining and interesting and well written. Again, Ghost Rider is probably the hardest one to read. And to know that he eventually remarried and had a daughter in 2009, I thought, in 2015, he's doing his farewell tour. And I was happy for him. That he got to do something for 41 years and reached about as high of a pinnacle as you can. And, was able to go out before the song that they finally played live, Losing It, was becoming, a story about his life. He didn't want that. And he decided to, end on as good of a high note as he could. So I was glad. I didn't want to see them 5-10 years down the road, barely able to even play anymore. That wouldn't have been good. So to see him and the band as well still be able to perform, I thought that's a good note to end on. It was just so shocking to hear that he had passed away. He was a private person in a sense. Didn't really, if you heard the song Limelight, that was basically him. He didn't mind somebody saying thank you, but the kind of the weird fandom was something he tried to avoid. So, he just wasn't a person to go out and make a huge impression on things in the way that he would, he didn't want to get that over accolation and just people like saying, I'm your greatest fan. It made him nervous in a way. So I guess in a way it wasn't too surprising that his death was as shocking as it was, even though he had been fighting brain cancer for 3 years. He kept it private, and understandably so, because I bet if it started coming out that he was fighting this, that it probably would have made it very awkward for him and his family. It still, as a fan, though, was quite shocking. And it really did hit me hard. And it's, again, silly in a way to say that, because I thought, it's a guy I never knew, but it's a guy that had a profound impression on me. And it's sad, but there's so much that he did good with his life. And there's so much that he's done to influence other people in good ways that kind of mark is one that's going to stick around for a long, long time. I feel incredibly sad for his family, especially his daughter, to be 10 years old or something like that, around that age. And to lose your father is unbelievably hard. And I really feel for her. I remember when I was 12, there was a girl in my school whose father passed away rather suddenly from a heart attack. And God, 12 years old. That I can't imagine that. And for to be that young and to lose your father is, I can't even, saying that's hard is an understatement. So truly, really feel for his immediate family. And if I understand right, his father is in his 90s and is still alive. To lose your son is a tremendous loss. So, for the family, I feel a lot of sorrow for. It's kind of, I don't just however you want to say it, but I'm not a whiskey scotch drinker or whatever. In fact, I don't even know if I'm saying the right one. But when my wife and I celebrated our 10-year anniversary in 2007, we went to Vegas for a weekend. And we went to a bar in one of the casinos, and they said, "Do you want a drink?" And I said, "I'm going to try Macallan," because I'd never had Macallan before. And I thought, well, that's what Neil keeps talking about that he drinks in his book. He has a little drink of Macallan after every show. So I'm going to try Macallan. I don't know if I really ever got the taste of it, but I eventually bought a bottle because he probably got the 25. But I said, I'll get 12. I'll get the 12. And you can see it's empty because actually last night, unbeknownst to me, I finished it. There's still a little left. I finished it. And I find out this morning or today that he's gone. I think every Rush fan out there like me is kind of gutted today. And, for others that don't understand Rush or always made fun of them, they're probably, I don't know what they're thinking, and I don't care. They were one of the best ever. He was one of the best ever, and not just in drums, and a lot of other things. So, happens. We all got our time, and if anything, and I don't mean to trivialize it, but if anything, it's a reminder in some way to make the most of it. Make the most of the time you got. Make the most of what you have with your family and your friends, and make sure to enjoy your life and pursue what you truly enjoy. And I'll leave it at that.